And welcome back. I am so excited because I always have fantastic opportunities to meet with business owners. And I know that every week I get all excited because I'm so happy and proud that I can amplify the voice of other businesses, especially businesses that I know I work with and that I support. So with us today is a friend of mine. His name is Patrick Pinto, and he is with Be Seen Solutions. Patrick, how are you?
Rhonda, thank you first for welcoming me to the show. Things are going great. It's an honor to work with you. It's even more of an honor to be on your show today.
Aw, thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So, you know, you and I met obviously through mutual friends, and a lot of the people that I have on my show, I get a lot of people, I'll say it like this, people reach out to me a lot saying, I'd love to be on your show. How do I get on your show? And the reality is that the people that I bring on my show are usually people that I've met through introductions along the way, which is no different with you and I. And I think that's the power of networking. So, with that, I know Be Seen Solutions has multiple verticals for business owners like myself, but business owners realistically around, I don't want to say around the world, but let's just say in the United States. So there's a couple of different things that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to look at you as the authority in your space. And I want you
Thank
to
you for
kind
that.
of, yeah, and I kind of want you to deep dive because it's funny when you and I speak offline, we're like two little chatterbugs going, and now, and go back and forth. So let's start with lead generation. You're,
Sure.
you're a marketing company. I am a prospective client. Talk to me about lead generation and what does that look like in 2024?
Well, you got to take into consideration lead generation has been designed because we live in a world of immediacy now. Nobody wants to wait anymore. Nobody wants to put that turkey in the oven and wait 6 hours. They want it seconds after they buy it. So their boiling point is a lot shorter. Lead generation it takes a lot of the mundane process out of marketing. It takes a lot of the waiting for something to come back to you out of marketing. So the concept that you'll have is that when I say we, our platform will go out and find the potential client for you. And we get very descriptive and very granular, and we'll say, tell us who you're looking for. Well, I'm looking for a chief bubblegum maker in the United States, and they can only make sugar-free gum, and they have to have this many employees, and they have to be located in this many states, and so forth and so forth and so forth. We'll break it down so laser focused that when we do an outreach campaign, we're not just casting a net and waiting for someone to come back to us. We're focusing in one-on-one conversation with that individual for you.
I
Is that
love it.
kind of
It does. Now, answer this for me. Give
sure?
us an idea. Again, words are used over and over again. We talk about lead generation. I want to stay focused on that. Give us an idea of what platforms are available for lead generation and what services. Again, if I'm coming to you as a client and you said, I think this would be a good platform, give me an idea of how you recommend what platforms to your clients.
Well, we initially do what I call, and I created this, a digital diagnosis. So
Uh-huh.
we'll look at you as a whole, as an entirety, and we'll see where the weaker links are. My
Okay.
strongest suggestion always is to play inside the world of LinkedIn. And I say that because there's a billion people on LinkedIn. So I can promise you that your audience is there. It's just a matter of us finding them, sifting through them, validating them, vetting them, and putting them in front of you.
Now, we use LinkedIn. Now, I'm in a space where LinkedIn makes sense for me because of the type of industry that I'm in.
Sure.
But not every client that might come to you would be LinkedIn friendly. And I'm just kind of thinking,
You're
if
correct.
if I'm a tanning salon or I am in automotive repair, LinkedIn may not be the best vehicle for me. So outside of LinkedIn, which you and I have spoken about, and I love what you've gone over, and we're going to touch on that. What other avenues are there for lead generation based on the different markets of consumers out there?
Well, again, you're looking at different markets and different aspects.
Mhm.
So let's utilize that tanning salon as we discussed. You have to look at first, who are their clients? And
Mhm.
then the lead generation campaign that would be targeted out towards them would almost be what I would consider a different approach, where maybe we're going to do an email campaign to people locally. Maybe we're going to do a social media campaign with a lot of interaction. Now, someone says, oh, it's social media, so it's not really lead generation. No, it is, because you're geo-targeting and you're focusing in on a certain demographic inside of that social media campaign. So there's multiple tools. We'll create inside the lead generation, we'll create a content article. So let's say we're going to write an article about you and how amazing you are and your company and your uniqueness about it. It makes you the center of influence inside that industry. So now we'll take that article and we'll place it in different publications, let's say within a so many mile radius of that location that you're looking to kind of market for.
Sure.
So
Now, a lot of businesses that I speak with, they're growing. And one of the biggest concerns they have is that there's all these different platforms, as we're mentioning. So you have LinkedIn as one platform, Facebook as a platform, maybe TikTok and other, digital,
is everything. Sure.
yeah, all these digital places. And a lot of times when I'm talking to clients, they'll say to me, I'm doing everything that I can. And we use the word organically versus something that is, let's just say, paid. What, is there a balance, or at what point do you recommend to a client different strategies for different platforms and how much they need to spend before they can see a return on investment?
That's a great, great question. And what I always talk to a client about is I'll ask them when we get on the call, where are you looking to go with this?
Mhm.
Well, they'll say, what do you mean? I'll say, well, they'll come back to me and say, I want to make $250,000 more this year. Okay, what do you want to put into your marketing to hit that echelon? It's not going to happen by chance. So we have to look at a marketing budget. Do you have a marketing budget? Well, listen, I want to go to a fine steakhouse, but I only want to pay $10 for a steak. It's not going to happen. So
Mhm.
you have to realize, what are we putting into, what are we getting back? So the marketing budget, if you said to me, I have X amount to spend, we will do our best to break that marketing budget down to fit as many criteria as we can for you. If you need something specific, then we'll put all that money towards that to build it the way it needs to be built for you.
I think sometimes clients are unrealistic.
Yeah,
What
I agree.
kind of, talking from experience, what, give me an idea of how much time you advise your, clients that you speak with. How much time do they need to invest with you before they can actually start to see the result?
That everybody comes back and says, if I give you the dollar today, what am I making two tomorrow? And you have to understand, it's all
That
in.
wasn't original. I thought.
Now, you could patent that, but everyone's asking that. It all varies on what people are looking at. It all varies on what they want. Someone again, not to break into all the different services that we provide, but
Sure.
staying lead generation, the idea with that is that's going to put you again in front of the people you want to talk to in the quickest amount of time. How long does that take? It varies. That's why we run agreements. That's why we say, listen, it's a 6 month agreement or a 12-month agreement, but you have to remember that inside those timelines, the quicker that you get moving on something, the better the more return you'll get. I love when I go through a whole proposal with a client and they say to me, oh, you know what? Let me think about this. And I'll say the only difference between now and when you come back to me is the time that you wasted.
Mhm.
Because if we got started today, you'll see much quicker results than if we got started a month from now.
Right. Which makes sense. Again, like I speak to clients all the time. And one of the things that I focus on when a client comes to me for either coaching or consulting is helping them to identify and set realistic timelines
Yeah.
and projections for where they're at in their business. Once again, just want to remind everybody, we are speaking with Patrick Pinto with Be Seen Solutions. And now I actually want to jump back in to another topic. So we're going to leave lead gen behind. We're going to jump in, and I want to talk to you now about website, the importance of website. So I feel as if, obviously I work in the business credit world, business consulting, business coaching. And one of the things that I have to constantly say to my clients is, do you have a website? And sometimes my clients will say to me, I work off of Facebook, I work off of referral, but here I am trying to help grow and scale a business. And I have to explain to them the importance of a website. And there's so many options out there, and there's so many different companies that are offering, let's just say entry level, opportunity to have a site built. So let's talk about websites. This is another area that Be Seen Solution helps clients with, correct?
That is correct. We are a full stack company.
Somebody comes to you, again, take a client, they are in business, whether they're new or they're existing. You take a look at, let's just say, their current website. What are you looking at to determine whether or not it needs to be modified or scrapped and redone?
You got to look at a couple of factors. You got to look at the age of the site. Okay, you got to look at how the site is loading, meaning when someone goes to click on the site, and we talked about earlier, we talked about the immediacy mindset, how long it takes to load the site. And we have to talk about what the site is doing for them. That's the important part. Okay.
We are on hold, but once again, we are speaking with Patrick Pinto with Be Seen Solutions. And I know that he must have gotten distracted. You're back now.
I apologize for that. Yes.
I am just going to say for everybody that is listening and watching, this is what real life business looks like. It doesn't matter that we block out time. Business still needs to go on. So we were talking about website. Let's just jump right back in. So we're talking about website, and you're talking about, the bells and whistles, how old a website is. So now there are times, and again, I get solicited constantly. Oh, I looked at your website, we can do this, we can do this. What features do you think are the most important features that a business owner should have on their website in 2024?
Well, you have to take into consideration, what is the website looking to be accomplished? Meaning, do they sell a product on the website?
Mhm.
Or is it more of a service-driven website? If you're a consulting firm or you're an attorney's firm or anything like that, they're selling their service. They're not physically selling a product. So the concept there is that they have to be able to have the availability of marketing that actual site and what that site's going to offer to somebody.
Sure.
Again, if you're a contractor, you want to showcase confidence in your product. You want to showcase what you're able to do. If you're building something for someone, you want to be able to show past models that have been done, or past construction that's been done.
So again, when we're looking, a lot of times people will say to me, I'm looking at your website, but you're not giving me a lot of, again, maybe I'm different. I'm in a consulting world, right? Different than a contractor.
Sure.
So for me, people will say to me, your website did not give me a lot of information. And and when I get solicited to update my website, a lot of times people will say to me, you should update your website and you should really put more of this and more of that. And I have to go back and say, my website is specifically meant for somebody to pick up the phone or schedule an appointment, because I don't want to be that information source that people will grab data from my website and then not call, because every scenario is so different. Again, I don't market with my website. I almost use my website as what we call validation to the fact that my business is around, right?
Well, it's important that you said that, because the website is always your center point of validation. Everyone will drive back to the website. And I always explain that content is king. The more content you have on a website, granted, the average reader may not go through it, but you catch that one or two individuals that will dissect your website and feel confident that, you know what, this company knows what they're doing, and I want to now invest and speak with them.
Websites vary depending upon what companies you speak with. And obviously service goes hand in hand with what those pricing factors might look like. So again, when somebody comes to you and says, Patrick, take a look at my website, take a look at what we have. And, you have what we'll call a full scale client. Is the website update and maintenance and content something that you focus on for those clients in making sure that maybe there's a blog, and how do you help them with maintaining their content?
Well, we build very tight relationships with our clients. We have weekly calls with our clients. We become the back end of their company. So we're supporting them to support themselves. So we'll always look at content inside a site and see if it needs to be updated, if it needs to be changed in any way, if it needs to be added to. The blog side of things, that's a separate function. That's part of your search engine optimization. So you want to have blogs inside your website, absolutely. Because again, it builds more validation that you know what you're doing.
Now, how important is it that somebody's website be the same name as their company name?
And that doesn't mean anything. You don't need it to be as specific as that. If you have a law firm, as long as when someone is searching for you online, they're able to find your services. It may not be through the name of the company. It may be in something connected to the company.
So if somebody came to you and they were a brand new business, again, now they're looking for some lead gen, they're looking for some website. And we're going to cover a couple of other topics here as well today, but somebody's looking at the website. What's their homework assignment? So you have a new client, they come to you, they're looking to build their website. What is their homework assignment? Like, what are those deliverables that they have to give to you to trigger the onset of the development?
Oh, we have to know again what they want to accomplish with the website. Do they want to showcase their company? Do they want to showcase their services? Do they want to talk about their history and why they're so well in tune in that industry? Do they want to become an industry leader, or do they want to just brand themselves a specific way? There's a multitude. Everyone thinks marketing is very black and white. You do this and you get a result. It's like a bag of kittens that run in 22 directions, and you really need to kind of like put everybody in place and put all those ducks in line, as I say. So homework to a client coming to me is, tell me what you're looking to accomplish with the website. I want to know your end game. I want to draw clients in. Okay, what do you want to tell the clients? How do you want to educate the clients? How do you want to interact with the clients? Do you just want them to call you? Do you want them to have a form to fill out? Do you want them to watch a video? Well, tell me what you want.
I think what happens, especially, I'll use myself as the prime example. I I am not like a super fan of technology, right? You and I have spoken about that. And people will say to me all the time, you have great social media, you have this, and they think that I am techie. But the reality is that I rely on my support team, somebody like yourself to help guide me because it's not simple. It is not a process that I think the standard business owner understands, but yet it's probably undervalued, in my opinion, for the overall rate of return that somebody is looking at to help build, right? To help build their business. And that, I mean, again, not to kind of go back over and over, but I don't use my website as a place for people to go and find me. But I know the importance of having a good website because of the validation that it offers to the clients that are looking to find me. Right. So
You're correct. You're correct in all of what you're saying, but every company has a different approach.
yeah,
So there's not one size fits all for any marketing campaign. Any website, website should be updated every 2 years. Just
that
what
was
you
going to be my, I was just going to ask you, like, how often do you think it needs to be updated?
Every 2 years, you should be updating your website. Okay. And it's not something because you just want to do it because it's fashionable. It's because all of the nuances that come into site building and all of the load speeds and all of the different pieces, what we call push button processing, where you want to add different components into the site. Certain sites can only handle so much. So by expanding what you have on the back end, you can continue to update that site.
I love that. So let's go and jump again, just reminding everybody we are speaking with Patrick Pinto, and he is with Be Seen Solutions. And what I want to do next is jump into another topic, right? Again, I know I keep picking your brain, but it's just important because you're bringing relevancy to organizations like yours and why it's so important to have not just somebody who handles certain things, but you said it before, it's your back office. Like you're probably one of the most important contracts or relationships that a business owner may have. So let's dive into the mystery of SEO.
The mystery of SEO,
The
like the
mystery of
Loch Ness
SEO. And
monster.
I say it like that because people will say to me, oh, how much are you spending on this, and how much and again, my business has been all organic. So when I get people trying to talk fancy, like, what's your SEO budget? I have to say, we go back and forth. So client comes to you, they're talking about lead gen, they're talking about their website. Now we're talking about SEO, because I feel like that's going to be like the anchor, right? That ties everything together. So explain that to me.
Search engine optimization, otherwise known as SEO, is exactly what it's described. It's an engine that searches for whatever you're looking for. You look at Google and everyone goes to Google and asks Google any question. Google is, do you ever go to Grand Central Station in Manhattan?
Yeah.
When you walk in, there's a
I'm a
guy
country girl, so not often, but yes.
there's a guy on a pulpit, and you go to him and you say, "Where is track 6?" So it's down there. I'm looking to go to Washington. Oh, that's track 2. You go over there. This guy is referring you to where you have to go. So at the end of the day, Google is the perfect referral company, because all they're doing, you're asking them a question, find me a great Italian restaurant in Manhattan. They're referring you to an Italian restaurant. The idea behind SEO is that the SEO is your referral magnet. So when you take a website and you go through your website and you build it so you could be found. And what you feed the website with is your search engine optimization. And it's what we call long-tailed keywords, short-tailed keywords, blogs, backlinks. Backlinks, we connect you if you're in the bubblegum industry, and we're going to connect you to all the different other companies that would use gum or use sweets or use anything like that. We're going to connect you to their websites. So when someone's on a baseball website and they see that, oh, bubble gum is, they're chewing bubble gum on that website, it all connects through. Well, SEO is the coolest tool out there, but I will forewarn everyone. So who's ever listening, sit down, strap yourself in, because SEO is a marathon. There's no sprint in it. It's a long-tailed game, long-tailed, and you got to have the money you got to invest to get the return.
Now, there are times that people will say to me that they are only focused on being on page 1 of Google. And I'm assuming that all ties into their SEO and their budget.
Well, let me stop you for a second. There is never one. People think of page 1 like a newspaper, and then there's page 2, and then there's page 3, and then everyone's on page 6. Google has an infinite number of first pages. So think about it, an infinite number of first pages. How you search for something are multiple first pages. There is no one first page. That's the misnomer. That's the unfortunate sale that people mislead clients with. I'll get you on the first page of Google. I'll get you on 1,000 first pages of Google. It's all in the search of how you do it.
Understood. So in other words, it's a modification tool. You could be on, you could be on page 1 if you populate these 5, a sentence that sounds like this, but then you can modify that sentence and it might give you a deviation.
The first pages,
Yeah,
absolutely. If you're an attorney and you look for, find me a law firm in Suffolk County, that's one first page. Find me a law firm in Dix Hills, that's another first page. Find me a medical law firm, that's another first page. You could be handling all of those services and still being found on all of those first pages.
So if a client comes to you and says, just use for an example, it's a law firm, and they come to you and say, I really need to boost my business? Are you looking at, you know, keeping it broader, or for the dollars that they're looking to spend, do you keep their search tighter so that their dollars go further?
Well, it's all variant on if they're a law firm, are they a national law firm or are they a local law firm? We represent law firms in Manhattan. They service the world. So
Mhm.
their SEO component needs to service the world. We represent law firms out of Garden City. They stay relatively local. They stay in the New York, from Manhattan to Montauk kind of mentality. We represent them in that area. It's all, again, SEO is a cool tool because it's an engine that you can modify, you can increase, or you can decrease. You have to also look at the competition that you're going up against. Think of SEO like a horse race that started, okay? And they're running around the track, and now you have to get on your horse, which is your website, and you have to feed it the SEO so you can get not only into the race, but in front of everyone else in the race. This race will never end, because the day that you're on the first page, tomorrow someone else adds something to their website and it pushes them in front of you. So now it's your job to add more content, add more video, add more intrigue to your site, and push yourself in front of it.
So now, if I am a business owner and now I want, and I use the word pay per click, is that lead gen? Is that SEO? Is that a combination where somebody will say, have you boosted something on your, you do a boost, right? You do a pay, or a pay per click. You hear these words all the time. Like, help me to identify where those words go.
Okay, let's break the three words down. Pay per click. It's not organic. Okay, organic is you start out and you're a bubblegum company. I don't know why I keep talking about bubblegum. You're a bubblegum company, and you're on page 7 of LinkedIn, of Google, and you haven't moved up. And time after time after time, now you're starting to move to the front of that. You get to that, finally, that front page. Pay per click, depending on what someone's paying currently, you pay more and you automatically go to the pay-per-click section on Google. But it's a false premise, because it doesn't show the experience you have. It just shows that you paid more to be on that front page. It doesn't mean you're better. It doesn't mean you have more experience. It just means you had more money to put on the front page that day.
It's funny because that's one of my big pet peeves. And somebody recently asked me about that. They said, what's one of your biggest challenges? I said, companies, that have bigger budgets than mine, that
Sure.
actually don't do a good job.
It does,
Oh,
exactly. You have to know how to read. You have to know how to read Google and understand SEO to understand that your company right now, okay? Pick one of your companies, any one of your companies.
mhm.
Okay. If I decided to open up a competitor of you, 30 seconds from now, I'm going to open up a competitor of you. I'm going to go to pay per click. I'm going to pay twice the amount to put me in front of you. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. It just means, like you said, I had a bigger budget and now I'm in front of you. And the sad part is someone's going to go on Google, and they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, this guy's got to be good. He's on the front page. Meanwhile, it's a pay per click ad. And I'm not knocking it because I sell it all day long. It's just, I'm trying to explain to a client from the inside of the honesty that your smarter approach is going through your organic search.
And how do you create that?
It's a build. I told you, it's that long
It's
marathon. It's
that
a building
marathon.
process. You want a tomato, but we got to plant the seed and we got to grow it and we got to water it and we got to wait time, and you'll get the return on it, but it's going to be a little bit down the road.
So to build an organic, let's just say SEO, and we're saying it's a marathon, what are those key elements that would help bring attention that to that site?
Feeding a lot of what we discussed by having your SEO, by having someone who understands the SEO process and what we call the algorithms. That's a big word for high tide and low tide, if you want to consider it like that.
Sure.
The algorithms, when to have your site kind of structured properly, when to have the SEO running, when to have the right blogs added into the site. There's a lot of components. SEO is if you looked at your website as a tabletop, and
Mhm.
each leg on that table is a different service. You have your SEO as one leg, you have your social media as another leg, you have your lead generation as a third leg. And there's another leg that we'll talk about down the road, which would be video work.
Way. So once again, just reminding everybody, we are talking with Patrick Pinto with Be Seen Solutions. Now, we're going to jump back in and I'm going to ask Patrick some more questions. We're going to segue because we are in the final section of our show. So let's just use this as a segue. Video production. We were talking about SEO, the importance now of video to tie everything all together.
Video production is, in today's world, one of the most powerful tools. It's also one of the more expensive tools. But if it's done properly, okay, and I don't mean with an iPhone, but done properly and videoed right, it works tenfold for you because it goes into websites. They don't just want to hear about something, they want to see it as well. The crispness, the cleanness, the functionality of something, you see it more in a video than you do in an explanation of it. You want to be able to use it in your social media these days, and you have multiple streams of social media to use it in, on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your TikTok. You could use it across the board. You could use it as a reoccurring loop in your office. You could send it to clients to explain a process and walk them through a process. It is so much value in video work.
And it's funny because, obviously I do video, but I don't use video as what I will say a quote unquote tutorial as far as what I do. But it is something that I do talk to clients about. And oftentimes they'll say to me, I have the face for radio. I don't look like a guy that belongs on video. Do you offer video coaching? Like, give me an idea of, again, client comes to you, they might be a mechanic or a construction company. They don't feel like video might be important, but you have an angle and you know that you need the guy, like Tim the Tool Man, to say, and now we're going to do this. But you may not have a client that's comfortable in video.
You got to remember something. Video doesn't mean video like an interview. Video could be a video of if you had a mechanic and you wanted to give a video of a mechanic working on a car, or you wanted to give a mechanic or the shop or the tools. You're building confidence through the video that if you're going to go to this person, you're going to be comfortable in the services. A lot of restaurants do video work. You don't see the owner of the restaurant. You see the restaurant, you see the ambiance of the restaurant, you see the food coming in and out, you see the flow of the clients. That's what you're looking for. A product that you're selling. If it's we just did a huge video production for one of our clients. They're a manufacturer of clothing. We didn't show the actual clothing being made. We showed the quality of the clothing on the people. We showed the clothing in the stores. We showed the clothing being shipped out. You show the process. You don't have to always show the actual owner being interviewed talking about that.
Now, a lot of times people are utilizing social media to put their video content on. And we see more and more people that are growing their YouTube channels and creating followers or subscribers through YouTube. Is that something, how do you feel about that for a client or for a business? Is that another vertical that you work with?
Yes, it's a very powerful vertical. Before you have to have a YouTube page. You have to have a company's YouTube page. And then, which will help our clients build. And then you want to put video into it. You want to give them, if it's different projects, if it's testimonial videos, if it's production work being done, you want to show a client that you're not only in their waters, but you know exactly what they're looking for, and you're the company, you're the resource that they need.
A lot of times you will, I'll talk to somebody and we're talking about video production again, and they'll say, well, I bring in a team or I hire professionals to come in to represent my company. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, if they have influencers, that's fine. If they can't afford influencers, then this isn't a video production that you're looking to put into to try to win an award with. You're using it to showcase your company and highlight what your company has to offer. We represent car washes. You never see the owner of the car wash, but you see the production of what's going on. You see the beginning, and then you see the finished product. You see the customers that are happy. That's the important part.
If somebody's doing their marketing through video, how often do you think they should be providing updated video content?
It all depends what they're doing. We represent a very high-end pool. He does backyard pools, but his pools are $250,000 to start out at.
Mhm.
So the concept there is that he's showing the unfinished product, and then he's showing the finished product, and in between that, we'll do a quick timeline of the product going through its construction. You know, we,
Now,
we, we represent a lot of different types of companies. So it's very hard to pinpoint exactly unless you talk to that client and what they want and how they want it updated.
so in other words, even if we're, sitting and we're saying, hey, video production is great, I think more strategically, what we need to pay attention to is that video might be great for a business, but people need to have a strategic plan in place in order for them to figure out how to best use video. Because again, I could talk to somebody and say, hey, this is Rhonda, host of the Credit Authority, and we're doing this, this, and this. But then I also have that side of me where it's, hi, I'm Rhonda, I'm the professional, and I want to speak to you about, keeping your business credit, strong, and the importance of leveraging. And sometimes what happens is when people look me up, they find different messaging, and that actually gets confusing. How do you suggest people start to catalog their videos?
Well, the idea of you have to first create the video before you can catalog it. And first and foremost, they would need to sit down with a company like ours or another company, and they would want to have a storyline to understand again where we're starting out. Here's our footprint, here's our beginning, this is the videos that we want to create, and we want to drive the videos into this. We want to have, as I always say, we want to have an end game. What is that going to do? Where is this video going to bring us? And then you catalog it, and you can lay it out.
So just for the sake of time, because you've given us so much idea and so much clarity, small business comes to you, where do you start? They have a limited budget, small business, limited budget. Where do you start with?
I always ask the first question. Are you looking for new clients? Yes, I am. Okay, so let's backtrack that and let's look at why you're not having as many clients as you currently want. Let's look at your website. Let's look at your social media. Let's look at your SEO that backs into your website. All of that is humming and running on all 8 cylinders. Okay, let's talk about some lead generation. Let's talk about me introducing you to people that you would want to do work with and building that relationship. And then I always, always, always have to ask, talk to me about a budget, because we can do 22 things or we could do 2 things. Tell me where your budget is.
I think that clients, again, I just go off of, my own experiences, with my business clients. And I feel like sometimes they just don't know,
Yeah,
because
well,
they don't know what they don't know. So they're afraid.
it's when someone says to me, I'll say to them, well, we have to do this type of service. Well, that's so much money. Well, how much is one client worth to you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I make 25,000 off a client. Okay, so if you're going to spend 5,000 to make the 25,000, it's a win-win. If you're going to spend 5,000 and you're selling, dollar donuts, we have to work real hard to sell a lot of donuts. So we have to find a tool that fits better for you.
Understood. And it makes so much sense. So just for the sake of time, if you had one nugget that you wanted to drop to our audience, what would that nugget be?
Your marketing, and you said it earlier, your marketing in your business is more than you realize. It holds more value than you could imagine. Because when you close your eyes at night and you go to sleep, your website never sleeps. People look at you 24 hours a day without you realizing it. So you want to always have your best face forward.
I love it. Now, obviously, we've been talking about you this entire time. Once again, we are speaking with Patrick Pinto with Be Seen Solutions. Tell everybody the best way that they can connect with you.
They could reach me on our website, which would be www.bseensolutions.com. They could call our office at 631 777-8811. They could send me an email at pat@bscenesolutions.com. They could probably, because if they really wanted to look hard, I'm probably written some nice things on bathroom walls as well if they needed to find me. I don't know where, but this is what I heard.
Once again, we are talking with Patrick Pinto. And I think today's message is that if you are a small business owner and you are trying to get ahead of your competition, you're trying to figure out where the strengths and weaknesses are in your business model, how to structure a budget for your marketing, and obviously all about growth and opportunity. You can't scale your business without having a team. So if you are interested in having a solid team behind you, I suggest that you give Patrick a call, connect with him. He will give you a free discovery meeting to see where his team can help you. Other than that, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been an awesome guest.
Rhonda, I have waited months to be on your show. I know the list is a mile long, and I am grateful that finally that you asked me to jump on. I would come on anytime and talk. I could talk for days, but the show's only an hour. So,
Oh, show's only an
you
hour.
know,
Well, I appreciate your time. Stay tuned. We're getting ready to bring you information about next week's guest.